Good evening to all. Welcome you all to the daily current affairs session brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy for the date 11th July 2023 for the news which came in Indian Express newspaper. Okay, let's get straight into the current affairs session. That is the article, the explained part of the Indian Express news contained one important article is the unmaking of Vedanta's Foxconn's chip dream. What went wrong? That is, what the news says is Foxconn pulled out from the Vedanta's joint venture to establish the semiconductor manufacturing plant in Gujarat. The reason what the Foxconn has said is Vedanta is reeling under debt, so they can't able to trust the partner, so that they have decided to withdraw from the partnership which they have made with Vedanta to establish a semiconductor plant in the Gujarat. Right now, India is giving more importance to the manufacturing of semiconductors in India. That is to make Atmanirbhar in semiconductor manufacturing by establishing domestic semiconductors manufacturing industry, which is the way forward, which is the means to which we could able to establish a domestic electronic supply chain. As a result of which, increased production of the semiconductor chip in India will enable us to reduce the dependency from imports. Dependency from imports means it will make ourselves independent from the China, because most of the semiconductor products are being imported from the China. So if we have become self-reliant in semiconductor technology being manufactured in India, means we have become independent from the chip technologies from China. This is what the content of the news is. As a result of political as well as the economic turmoil which is happening for the past 3 years, most of the countries wanted to diversify their supply chain. As a result of which, most of the semiconductor plant or industries which is concentrated in China, they wanted to move away from the China and want to diversify their supply chain and manufacturing plant in some other countries. So the companies which wanted to diversify their semiconductor production are seeing India as viable alternative in Asian region. So this is the golden opportunity for India to capture the market. So India is also making some efforts to capture the market. What is the effort? We will see it in the upcoming slides. So this is what the content of the news is related to. Since the news revolves around semiconductor, we have to know about what does semiconductor mean. Semiconductors are materials having resistivity or conductivity which is intermediate between metals and insulators. It is intermediate between metals and insulator, because metals have high resistivity and high conductivity, but in case of insulators it is near opposite. It has low resistivity and low conductivity, but in case of semiconductor it is between the metals as well as the insulators. Semiconductors are usually made up of elements like silicon and germanium, and semiconductors are made up of sometimes compounds like cadmium sulfide, gallium arsenide and indium phosphide. These are all the important compounds which makes semiconductors. What is the difference between element as well as compound is, a element is an independent part or an atom, but in case of compound is a combination of element will enable to form a particular compound. This is the difference between the element and compound. So semiconductor are usually made through elemental type or compound type. If it is elemental, means it is mostly made through silicon or germanium. If it is compound type semiconductor, means it is made through cadmium sulfide, gallium arsenide and indium phosphide. Sometimes the semiconductors will be added some impurities called dopants. The process is called doping to change the conductivity of the material according to the requirement. The process of adding the impurity to semiconductor to make that particular semiconductor to suit to our needs, such type of process, that is such process of adding impurity to semiconductor is called as doping. The impure elements are called dopants. So this is what the semiconductor is about. Okay. One minute. There is some technical glitch is happening. Yeah. Semiconductors in India. What are all the steps taken by the government of India to promote semiconductor manufacturing in India itself? So the first step in the direction of making self-reliant on semiconductor is through National Electronic Policy 2019. The policy aims to promote domestic manufacturing as well as export in the entire value chain of ESDM for economic development to achieve the turnaround of 400 billion by 2025. This is the aim of the policy. It will include the targeted production of 1 billion, that is 100 crore mobile handsets by 2025, which includes 600 million mobile handset valued at 110 billion for export. And the policy aims to improve the ease of doing business for the ESDM industry. And it also encourages ESDM means electronic system design and manufacturing. Encouraging the industry-led R&D and innovation in all subsectors of the electronics. And also it aims to promote a creative framework of comprehensive startup ecosystem in emerging technologies. And also it makes effort, the policy aims to enable the government to enhance the availability of skilled manpower, those who are specialized in electronic industries. And also the national, as I have mentioned in the first point, it aims for export-led growth. And most important thing is it drives indigenization in the microchips used by strategic and critical infrastructure sector. The strategic and critical infrastructure sector includes health, defense, telecom, power sector, so on and so forth. So the microchips used in this sector are very important for the national security as the whole. So as a result of which the policy aims to make the microchip to be produced locally itself. And also it also provides some enabling framework. It also promotes or enables to make government to give loans to the industries, those who are manufacturing or doing R&D research or any other activity related to semiconductor to give loans to that industry at affordable interest rate. And also it aims to encourage and incentivize the technology of transfer of technology for core technologies. So this is what the broader outline of national electronic policy aims about. That is, the CRISP is it wants to promote the export of electronic items which is produced in India and indigenous production of microchips. Ease of doing business. By making sure that the rules and laws are very flexible to the needs of the industries, and also the loans are provided at affordable rate to the industries, those who wanted to do the activities related to research, design, manufacture, any other thing related to the semiconductor or electronic industry as the whole. Fourth is to skill the manpower so that they could able to match the working need of the electronic industry. So these four are the broader outline under which the entire policy has been framed. So there is a mission related to semiconductor in India. It is called as Indian Semiconductor Mission. It is an independent business division within Digital India Corporation, having administration as well as financial as well as financial autonomy to formulate and drive India's long-term strategy for developing semiconductors and display manufacturing facility and semiconductor design ecosystem. That is, its aim is to promote semiconductor manufacturing ecosystem in India and to ensure that the semiconductors are produced in India without any hassles, and also it leads to the export-led growth of India, particularly in semiconductor sector. The ISM is responsible for implementation of 4 schemes. First is scheme for setting up semiconductor fabs in India. This scheme provides some incentives through loans, or it enables government to attract the investment. It has some attractive provisions to attract investment by providing loan or subsidy at affordable rate, so that the industries will come forward to set up the semiconductor fabrication plant in India. This is the first scheme. Second is scheme for setting up of display fabrication in India. That is semiconductor fabrication. Second is display fabrication. That is semiconductor fabrication being applied to the display technologies. So the same kind of investment and loan rate and subsidy offers have been provided under this scheme also to set up the display fabrication in India, semiconductor display fabrication in India. The third scheme aims for setting up of compound semiconductor, silicon photonics, sensors, semiconductor assemblies, testing, marking and packaging OSAT facility in India. That is to make semiconductor itself and also silicon photonics, and to make sensors and the semiconductor assembly plant, testing plant, marking and packaging plant. If this scheme aims to promote these kind of semiconductor activities through way of providing support in terms of financial as well as other social supports. Fourth is design linked incentive scheme to provide both financial as well as design infrastructure facility. This is the important scheme. What is the what does the scheme deals with? We will see it in the upcoming slide detailing. So about design linked incentive scheme, which is the fourth scheme of the ISM, which we have seen in the previous slide. First is the design linked incentive scheme provides financial incentives. The product designs linked incentive, and under the financial incentive, the financial incentive is divided into two types. First is product design linked incentive, that is reimbursement up to 50% of eligible expenditure subject to ceiling of, that is maximum amount of 15 crores per application will be provided to the approved applicants who are engaged in semiconductor design, because it is related to product design subsidy. And after designing the product and manufacturing it, if these semiconductor products have been deployed in making IC chips or any other electronic chips, means such kind of products will also get an incentive under deployment linked incentive. The incentive is up to 6 to 4% of net sales turnover over 5 years, subject to ceiling of 30 crores. That is, they will average out the net sale over the 5 years period, and they will provide the incentive up to 6 to 4 6 to 6% to 4% of the net sale of the last 5 years, and the subject and the ceiling of the amount will be 30 crores, whichever is less, will be given to the industries whose semiconductor design has been manufactured and deployed in the integrated circuits or IC chips or any other semiconductor chips. So this is the financial incentives given under the scheme. And second is infrastructure in support. First is National EDA Tools Grid. It aims to provide remote access to the centralized facility of electronic design automation tool for chip designing activity, particularly for the startups and MSMEs. So certain tools which will not be affordable for the MSMEs and startup industries. So such kind of infrastructure support through will be given under the scheme. Will be given under the scheme. In that, the first support of the digital infrastructure is been given to electronic design automation tools. These tools could be used by startup and MSME to design the chips which they have been vying for or aiming for. And second infrastructure support is intellectual property core repository. That is, this scheme will provide the persons, those who wanted to have some access related to the IP course, that is intellectual property course. This is the logical thinking of a person whose thinking will be converted into the design of the chip. Such kind of thinking will be protected under IP of the intellectual property of the particular semiconductor. So each and every semiconductor will have a particular design, and its design will come from the particular thinking of the person who have designed the particular semiconductor chips. Such kind of logical thinkings depository will be accessible to the industries or startups and MSMEs. Third is MPW prototyping support. It is multi-project wafer prototyping support. That is, when wafer is nothing but a silicon rod through which the on the top of which a fabrication of the semiconductors will take place. These wafers on the top of which the fabrication of the semiconductor takes places the cost is very huge, which could not be affordable for the small MSMEs and or startup sectors, and at the same time it is not affordable or it could lead to wastage of resource for the larger corporation itself, because if they wanted to, if the wafer size is this much, means they wanted to design a semiconductor chip which is of this type, so the remaining space will be wasted. So the amount spent in those for buying this amount for buying a wafer size which is this much, but the actual required size is this much, the remaining size will be, the money spent on the remaining size will be wasted. So in order to overcome this, MPW prototype has been introduced, that is 3 to 4 see, if for example if the box contains like this, if you can able to design 1 2 3 4 6, we can able to fabricate 6 semiconductor chips in the wafers, means the 6 startups or small sectors could come forward, they could able to put some money, they could divide the, for example இப்போ இந்த semiconductor waferல வந்துட்டு 6 semiconductor fabrication பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னா 6 MSMEs or 6 startups can come forward, they could put their respective amount of money to buy the wafer, and they could put the semiconductor fabrication in that wafer, so that the cost could be reduced, the wafer cost could be reduced. As wafer cost could be reduced, means it will be the whole input cost, it will have huge toll on the input cost itself. So such type of prototyping support, the physical it will be provided by the MPW prototyping support. Fourth is post silicon validation support, that is after fabricating we require some tools to test as well as validate whether the fabricated thing is working according to our need or not. For such testing and as well as for validation, there we want some certain kinds of tools. For that, this scheme is providing post silicon validation support also. Through this support, we could able to test as well as validate our fabrication technology, whether it is working correctly properly according to our need or not. We could able to test it. So this is the details of the scheme related to design linked incentive scheme. So what we needed to study further is, since we have studied about design linked incentive scheme, we have to know about product linked incentive scheme, and also we have to know about the silicon resources that is present in the world, which country holds the maximum amount of silicon resource, we have to know. Second is, we have to know about Make in India scheme as well as Digital India Mission scheme, because both giving importance to semiconductor and its indigenization itself is the boost for Make in India scheme, that is which is implemented under the Make in India scheme, and the production of the semiconductor in India will act as the one of the important objective of Digital India Mission itself. So we have to know about both the scheme and missions. So since there is a need for indigenization of semiconductor, we have to know about what is Atmanirbhar mean. What is the objective of this Atmanirbhar program, which the government of India is promoting right now. So these are all the other things which we needed to study, so that we could have some holistic understanding about the news itself. Second is, Larsen and Toubro signs pact with Spain firm Navantia to build Navy submarines. So we will look into this is what the content of the news is, because under project 75I, which is being implemented under SP model, that is strategic partnership model. Every private entity of India need to engage with the foreign manufacturers to apply for the bidding process for manufacturing of submarine, which is being implemented under P75 project. So as a result of which, L&T has signed a pact with Navantia, which is a Spain submarine manufacturing company, and they both are going to make a bid for to make a submarine under P75 project. So we have to know about what does this P75I project means. Under this project, India will purchase 6 next generation diesel submarine with air independent propulsion system technology for Indian Navy. What does this air independent propulsion system technology means is, under normal the submarine will be classified into 2 types. One is conventional submarine, another is nuclear submarine. Under conventional submarine, the submarine will be made mostly of diesel electric submarine, as a result of which, whenever the submarine is traveling under the water, they need to come to the surface of the water to get some air from the atmosphere. So this air will act as the fuel for combustion. So it has certain disadvantages, because after a certain period of time, the submarine needs to come to the surface of the water. So in order to overcome this, the air independent propulsion system technology has been designed. This technology does not it enables submarine to flow under the water without coming to the surface, and they could able to combust the fuel without the use of oxygen itself. So that is the speciality related to air independent propulsion system technology. It will be developed under strategic partnership model, as I already said. So what does this strategic partnership model means? We'll see in the upcoming slide, that is upcoming next topic. It is the part of Navy plans to indigenize the submarine construction in India. So the strategic partnership model means, under the strategic partnership model, as I have said, one Indian private company need to engage with the shortlisted global equipment manufacturers to manufacture certain platforms, certain defense products in India through technology transfer under Make in India scheme. The objective of the SP model is to make India self-sufficient in technology through way of technology transfer, and adapt it, master it, and produce ourselves after some point in time. This is the objective of the strategic partnership model, and the design has been, and the model has been designed in such a way that India could have access to the technologies from other superior manufacturing companies, so that we could able to get it, adapt it, and improvise for our own need, and then manufacture the product after some time without the need of other foreign manufacturers. The 4 segments have been selected under the SP model and SP model. The under these 4 segments, அந்த 4 செக்மெண்ட்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா, அந்த 4 செக்மெண்ட்ல மட்டும் தான் இப்போதைக்கு SP மாடல் ஒரு மாடலை இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ண முடியும். அது என்ன செக்மெண்ட் அப்படின்னா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இஸ் ஃபைட்டர் ஏர்கிராஃப்ட், second is helicopter, third is submarine, fourth is main battle tanks. These are all the 4 sectors in which the SP model could be implemented. So since the news is again related to making the product indigenously in India, so it comes under the whole vision of Make in India program. So what does Make in India program is? It is devised to transform India into global design and manufacturing hub. That is, they wanted to make India as the manufacturing hub to the globe itself. That is the aim of the Make in India program. To achieve the manufacturing sector to grow at 12 to 14% per annum. That is what the Make in India scheme aims to. Third is, through the process of increasing the growth rate of manufacturing sector, they wanted to create some 10 million additional job in manufacturing industries. As a result of this, by promoting the manufacturing sector, we could able to reduce the disguised employment which is present in the agriculture sectors. And to ensure that the manufacturing sector will contribute to 25% of the GDP by 2025. First it was mentioned as 2022, now it is revised to 2025. It is being implemented by Department for Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade under Ministry of Commerce. This is the whole objective and the quantitative goal of Make in India programs. So what we needed to study further is, first since we have studied about SP model, that is strategic partnership model, there are other models which also aims to promote indigenization in India. What is it? We have to know about buy and make, and what is leasing is about. These are all the three, and each one will have some sub part in it. So we have to know about all of them so that we could have some idea related to the indigenization process that is happening in India. Second is, we have to know about public-private partnership model and what are all the subtypes that is present in it. Third is, we have to know about the Scorpion submarine of Navy, which is being implemented under Project 75. It is what we have seen is Project 75I. So the Scorpion submarine of Navy is being implemented under Project 75. So what is Project 75 and what kind of submarine? It manufactures a submarine called diesel electric submarine, not the diesel air independent propulsion system submarine. It is a diesel electric submarine which has been so we have to know about it also. What does Project 75 means? So it is also at G20 meet. At G20 meet, a Guinness effort to shine light on Karnataka's Lambani craft. About the news, that is right. G20 Culture Working Group, that is third Culture Working Group, has taken place in Hampi in Karnataka. First is Gajrav, which is in Madhya Pradesh. Second Cultural Working Group took place at Bhubaneswar, that is in Odisha. Third Cultural Working Group has taken place in Hampi in Karnataka, which is the UNESCO World Heritage Site, which we will see in the later slide. What is the specialty related to Hampi? In the event, a Guinness record has been created by the Lumbini tribes through larger design of the Lumbini laboratory. They have in this picture is. So I hope you could be able to see this picture. So the tribals have created a larger Lumbini embroidery. Sorry for the mistake. Lumbini embroidery, which is the craft of handmade craft of the Lumbini tribes. They have produced the largest item of Lumbini embroidery. So it is being entered into Guinness World Record. Since the news is related to Lumbini and Lumbini embroidery and Hampi, we have to know about all of them. First is, we have to know about who are all these Lumbini tribes. They are all called Lambadis or Banjaras. They are nomadic tribe community, and during the Mughal period, they have settled in Karnataka, Andhra, Madhya Pradesh, and Gujarat and Maharashtra. So right now they are settled tribes, and also in certain some states like Andhra, they are still acting as nomadic tribes. So we will consider themselves as nomadic tribes itself, because this is where their origin, this is where the actual origin of the tribe took place, because they migrated from Afghanistan to India as a means of their livelihood, because they used to, they are nomads now, they used to travel throughout the land where according to their economic needs, or the with the areas which is suitable for their economic needs, they used to migrate according to it. So they are now nomadic tribal community, which is been present in certain states like Karnataka, Andhra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. So we have to know about them also. So what is Lambani embroidery is about? It is the GI tagged embroidery. This, and it has intricate forms of textiles embellishment, which is characterized by colorful threads, mirror works and stitch pattern practiced in several villages of Karnataka. The craft traditions stitches together small pieces of discarded fabrics, and they will be converted after stitching these small pieces together, it will be converted into a larger embroidery, which will be unique in the sense of the colorful threads, mirror works and the stitching pattern, which are unique for Lambani embroidery only. So this is the uniqueness of Lambani embroidery, and it is very unique. It could not be seen in other craft products or the machine made products also. So that is the specialty related to Lambani embroidery, which is available till now. So Hampi, what does Hampi mean? It is the Hampi is UNESCO World Heritage Site located on bank of Tungabhadra River in Karnataka. Hampi was under different dynasties, like initially it was under Mauryas during the 3rd century BC, and after it fell to Chalukyas, Hoysalas and Vijayanagar Empire, and then to British. It was during the Vijayanagar Empire, the 14th century, under King Krishna Devaraya of Tuluva dynasty, the Hampi reached its maximum flourishment. It reached its maximum height in terms of economic, social, cultural, political, administration, etc. By 1500, the Hampi was considered as world's second largest medieval era city after Beijing. This is the speciality related to Hampi. So what we needed to study further is, we have to know about the Vijayanagar Empire, their origin, what are all the battles they fought, and what is the causes for the decline, and what are all the cultural and arts factors which the Vijayanagar Empire has introduced, and in what culture or articraft the Vijayanagar Empire is specialized. So we have to know about them also. Second is, we have to know about Vijaya Vitalya Temple, the Royal Enclosure, and then Yeduru Bashava Complex, which are all present in the Hampi. These are all combined together formed UNESCO World Heritage Site. So we have to know them individually. What does Vijaya Vitalya Temple, what does the Royal Enclosure means, what does Yeduru Bashava Complex mean? Why the government is promoting the indigenous tribal art craft is because this art craft will make people life sustainable, which has been prevailing more than hundreds of years. It has been with the craft is with the people only. This craft is in tune with the synerging with the environmental stability. It does the tribal crafts doesn't interfere with the environmental sustainability. It makes people to live together with to synergize with the environment. And secondly, most of the crafts, particularly this Lambani embroidery crafts, will enable to people to achieve economic freedom. By promoting it, we could create some market, as a result of which the women, those who are producing it, could able to attain the economic freedom, as a result of which the freedom in thought will take place. Then later the social freedom will also take place. This is the reason why government is promoting indigenous crafts. But right now they have promoted Lambani crafts in G20. So we have to know about Life Mission, which was introduced by our Prime Minister in United Nations Framework for Convention on Climate Change to make human life sustainable with environment. No takers in FCI price. E-auction centers in tweaking policy. So the news is the last week government of India has made an e-auction to sell the buffer stock of rice and wheat to the common public through the private traders, so that they could able, what they aimed is to reduce the inflation or the rise of price of food crops or food products in the market. But the plan doesn't go the plan has faced a setback, because government has aimed to wanted to sell some 3,80,000 metric tons of rices and pulses, but the actual what the traders bidded for is only 170 metric ton. So it didn't go as expected. So what the government has hinted is, if it requires, they will be making some changes in the open market scheme policy. If it is needed for the economy or the nation as the whole, means surely we will be having some relook of the open market sales scheme, so that this kind of setbacks will not take place when the government of India is doing it under a severe stressful economic condition. So what does this open market sales scheme is about? The Food Corporation of India sells surplus stocks of wheat and rice at predetermined price through e-auction in the open market. The objective is to, as I said, to reduce the food price in the market by increasing the food supply. The FCI does this through e-auction, where open market bidders can buy specified quantity. The states can also buy products under open market sales scheme, but they can do it without participating in the e-auction. Why the state buys from the open market sales scheme is to provide for to fulfill their own state schemes other than the targeted PDS, which the center will provide it through the state provide early to the yearly. ஒவ்வொரு வருஷமும் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஸ்டேட்ஸ் வந்து அது ஒரு ரொட்டீன் மாதிரி ஸ்டேட்ஸுக்கு தேவையான அந்த ரேஷன் கார்டுக்கான தேவையான எத்தனை ரேஷன் கார்டு இருக்கோ அந்த ரேஷன் கார்டுக்கு தேவையான ப்ரொக்யூர் பண்ணுற ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ் எல்லாமே வந்துட்டு அந்த ஸ்டேட்டுக்கு வந்துட்டு டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. அதர் தென் த ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ் விச் இஸ் ரிக்வயர்ட் ஃபார் டிபிடிஎஸ், தட் இஸ் டார்கெட்டட் பப்ளிக் டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூஷன் சர்வீஸ், ஸ்டேட் கேன் ஆல்சோ ஸ்டேட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா த்ரூ ஓப்பன் மார்க்கெட் சேல் ஸ்கீம்ஸ் வழியா இன்னும் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா ப்ராடக்ட்ஸை வாங்கி, ஸோ தட் அவங்க ஸ்டேட்ஸ் ஒவ்வொரு இண்டிவிஜுவல் ஸ்டேட்ஸும் பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா they will be having their own state schemes to promote welfare in their own state. So அந்த ஸ்டேட் ஸ்கீமை ஃபுல்ஃபில் பண்றதுக்கு they can able to buy it through the open market sales scheme. So since the news is related to the Food Corporation of India, which is the implementing authority of open market sales scheme, we have to know about what is Food Corporation of India is. It is the statutory body set up in 1965 under Food Corporation Act 1964. It comes under the ownership of Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and PDS, headquartered in Delhi. The objective is, as I we have discussed previously, to procure and supply grains to PDS system and to maintain a strategic reserve. That is, whenever there is the requirement for a certain kind of glut or drought or disaster takes place, means there will be a shortage in this supply of food products to the consumers. So, by keeping strategic reserve, they could able to release the food products whenever it is required. Third is to implement the effective price support to the farmers. These are all the three objectives under which the Food Corporation of India has been formed. And Food Corporation of India will also conduct e-auction through National Commodity and Derivatives Exchange Limited weekly. So what does this NCDEX, that is National Commodity and Derivative Exchange Limited, means? It is a public limited company regulated by SEBI. It is being governed by certain statutory acts called Forward Contract Regulation Act 1952, Companies Act, Securities Contract Regulations Act 1956. Products like cereals and pulses, oils and seeds, fibers, spices, guar, soft are traded in the NCDEX. So what we needed to study further is, we have to know about, since the news is related to Food Corporation of India and open market sale scheme and something that is related to food and to maintain price stability, as a result of which the welfare of the people could be protected. On the same line, we have to see about what does MSP mean and what does procurement price mean, what is the difference between them. We have to know about PDS system in India. And third, we have to know about what are all the crops covered under MSP. And fourth is, we have to know about the decentralized procurement and when it was introduced, why it was introduced, and what is the impact it has created in the implementation of the PDS system as the whole. And we have to know about price stabilization fund, which is created by Government of India to provide price support for the perishable goods. So we have to know, we have to have a look about all of this in addition to the details which you have seen in the previous slide. So we have to know about the prelims question which was asked in relation to the news which was appeared today. First is, consider the following statement about G20. The G20 group was originally established as a platform for finance ministers and central bank governors to discuss about the national economic and financial issues. Second is, digital public infrastructure is one of the India's G20 priority. Both the statements are correct because G20 has formed initially as finance minister and central bank governors group to discuss about the financial policy or the economic policy or anything related to economy of the global as the whole. After 1999 Asian financial crisis, and under G20 summit which has been implemented in India, digital public sector infrastructure is one of the key priority which the G20 which is been right now going on under the leadership of India is given importance. So it is one of the India's priority. So answer is C, both 1 and 2. Second is, consider the following pass. Famous place and river. Famous place and rivers. Bandarpur and Chandrabhaga. Second is Tiruchirappalli and Kaveri. Those who belong to Tamil Nadu could be able to easily recognize it. Third is Hampi and Malaprabha. This we have seen in the previous slide itself while we are referring to Hampi. Hampi is found on the bank of river Tungabhadra. It is not found in the river of Malaprabha. So the third statement is wrong. So the first Since the third statement is wrong, the option B, C and D is wrong. So the statement A, both 1 and 2 only is correct statement. Bandarpur is present in Chandrabhaga, that is in Orissa. Chandrabhaga river. So finally, we have come to the last session of today's current affair. That is UPSC mains question. What are the methods used by farmers organization to influence the policy makers in India? How effective are these methods? This is 10-mark question asked during 2019 mains. I want those students, those who are watching the current affairs session online, please do comment the answer point for this question so that we could able to have some enriching of our own points itself, and also we could able to learn the views of each others. So we as a whole could be benefited from this current affairs session and the answer writing as the whole. So thank you students. Thank you for watching the current affairs session. Please do comment, like, subscribe and share the current affair videos to your friends also, and also hit the bell icon so that you could be able to receive the daily current affair notification as well as other important videos brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy.